Good afternoon. You're watching ABC News Ghana. Leader of the new Governing Patriotic Party, Dr. Bawumia's Bold Solutions for the Future nationwide campaign tour still continues today. This is the comprehensive coverage of the nationwide campaign tour live on ABC News Ghana. I'm Epifania Chukotokligwe. After making a stop in the Bono region Wednesday, May 8, 2024, where he met with the religious groups and paid a courtesy call on the Regional House of Chiefs, the Vice President subsequently joined stakeholders at the University of Energy and Natural Resources for the third annual Transformational Dialogue on Small-Scale Mining in Ghana. Dr. Bawumia subsequently held a meet and greet session with traders in Fiapre Market, after which he held a Youth Connect Town Hall meeting at the Sunyani Technical University before meeting with party functionaries. Before we bring you the interactions that climaxed Wednesday's engagement, Dr. Bawumia is in the Bono East region today, Friday, May 10, 2024. He met with the clergy earlier this morning at a Trinity Presbyterian Church at Tainman. Here are the excerpts of his engagement with the clergy. So you can see him addressing the clergy, sharing his vision with them. Now he's been very clear about stating that he wants to build a golden age relationship with the clergy. So he makes sure that whenever he steps into a region, he meets the faith-based organizations first. And that's what we see him doing right here in Bono East. So you can also see him as he moves through the markets. Basically, he was engaging with the people, shaking hands, giving hugs, and granting audience with people that would usually not get the opportunity to see him on a day-to-day basis. Over here, we can also see when he actually met with the imams earlier today.
Once she's quiet, let's put the video on.
You can see him shaking hands with the market women. I mean, he's brought the message to them. He's come to meet them on their turf, so he's interacting with them. And this is something that he's been doing at every region that he gets to. He addresses the House of Chiefs, he meets with the clergy, he meets with the imams, and also meets with the youth. But after that, he also makes sure he steps down and goes into the marketplaces to actually meet the people. Our colleague Samuel Nyimagbo is actually on field. Let's go straight to him. Hello Samuel, how are you doing? How is Bono East?
Hello, Epifania. So from the western region, from the eastern to the western and western north regions to the Ahafo and Bono regions, we are now currently live in the Bono East region here in Tainman, where the NPP flag bearer and Vice President Dr. Bawumia is taking his tour of the regions too. So we are currently at the Bamiri Community Center, where the Vice President and flag bearer of the party is expected to engage with the Bono East Regional House of Chiefs, as he has usually done in previous regions. We are also live from the Tainman South constituency, and I must say that the Tainman South constituency is one that everybody must keep an eye on, because in the past election, which was in 2020, there was a bit of violence within the constituency when the EC declared the current NP as winner of the parliamentary elections. The situation led to the death of 3 persons who lost their life in the situation. Since then, the opposition NDC has accused the government, which Dr. Bawumia is included, of neglecting the plight of the people who were caught up in the brawl. So the visit of the Vice President and NPP flag bearer is expected to show up the vote for the party within the region and build a base for the party to help them maintain the seat in the Tainman South constituency, and also help them win more seats, because NPP only have 3 seats within the Bono East region. So it is all prepared here. The situation here is calm as usual, because the chiefs are ready. Most of the chiefs and queens within the eastern region, within the Bono East region, are ready. They have entered the yard. They are ready, seated. Some of them have already entered into the auditorium where the engagement with the vice president is expected to take place. So everything here is ready. We are awaiting the arrival of Dr. Bawumia here to commence his engagement with the Regional House of Chiefs.
Thank you so much, Samuel. We'll definitely bring you live update, and when the interaction starts, we'll take you straight to the auditorium. Well, meanwhile, climaxing Wednesday's interactions with the Bono Regional House of Chiefs was his position to grant free tertiary education for persons with disabilities if elected as president. According to the presidential hopeful, Dr. Bawumia, even though scholarships are meant to be given to all manner of persons, his government will prioritize scholarships for persons with disabilities. Says a scholarship will cover both academic and residential fees beginning from 2025.
Me persons with disability, so yabua omo. Omo bedre, because of disability, they can't go and do a lot of work to get any money for tertiary education, but they are very smart, they are very bright. Persons with disability, no, yabama almost scholarship to go to tertiary institutions, and they will be able to attend free tertiary institutions through scholarships.
Okay, let's have a conversation at the back of this. We've been joined by the Programs Director for the Ghana Federation of Disability Organizations, Adam. Take a short break, and when we come back, we'll be speaking to Adam Abdul Wahab. Do stay with us. For the Ghana Federation of Disability Organizations, Adam Abdul Wahab. Good day, Adam, and welcome to ABC News Ghana.
Good day.
Well, the Vice President has plans to grant free tertiary education for persons with disability. Now, is it a welcoming call to you and your members, or it's only merely a campaign promise, you will say?
Okay, thank you, Olam, and use this opportunity to acknowledge your listeners and leadership of the Federation. This is a campaign season, and as an organization of persons with disability, we expect this kind of comments to come up. However, it is also an indication that the Federation would have to monitor all these promises and ensure that once the candidate gets the opportunity to rule the country, we are able to hold that person responsible for what he has said. It's a good call anyway, and it gives us the opportunity to track the commitment that individuals and organizations have as far as inclusive development is concerned. So as a federation, it's a good point. It also gives us the opportunity to track and monitor the implementation afterwards.
Disability Act provides for free education for children and girls with disability. Can you confirm if this government has shown any commitment to that effect?
So, as far as that is concerned, no government has actually granted free education for persons with disabilities. Persons with disabilities continue to face challenges when it comes to education, especially children with cerebral palsy and then Down syndrome and all that. There are some of these children, even when they are taken to public schools, they are rejected. And the schools will always think that even admitting the persons with disability in the school will give them extra cost or some kind of financial burden. Though the Act 715 persons with disability Act has that clause that education for children should be free, it is not happening. And apart from the free secondary school education that the government is implementing, there is no any specific intervention like that for persons with disability.
Okay. But has your federation made any effort to actually follow up and find out why this is not being taken upon by the government?
So that has been one of the advocacy agenda that we have been pursuing for a very long time. And usually the issue is about resources and also the issue about facilities. So it was based on this advocacy that we pushed for the government to come out with the inclusive education policy so that it could create opportunity for children to have that kind of inclusive education system before we then think of how we are going to make that provision in the Act 715 possible. Advocacy has been going, but we do not seem to be yielding any resource as far as free education for children with disability is concerned. And even the implementation of the inclusive education policy has not been effective, even though government has committed to actually allocating adequate resources for effective implementation. That one too has not taken its full course.
What exactly do you think is holding back? What do you believe is a challenge? Why is the implementation not happening?
I think the challenge is about the will and then the commitment. We do not want to always blame everything on resources, because if governments who wish to do something, no matter what, we will find the resources to be able to do it. So I think it is about the will and also thinking that disability is somebody's business and not all of us. Also, the thinking that when you do something for persons with disability, it's like you are giving the person a token or just trying to sympathize with the person. So it's like society do not see maybe relevant in mainstreaming issues or focusing much on things that affect persons with disability. So to me, I can say it's lack of the will and then political commitment to cause of disability. That is what I can say. As I mentioned, if it's about resources, as a state we would have known how we raise resources to ensure that we implement all these beautiful policies that we have.
Okay. What will be your assessment of successive governments' commitment to addressing the concerns and challenges of persons with disabilities under the Person with Disability Act 2006, Act 715?
So as far as we are concerned, successive governments, each of them has done what they can. we cannot say that government A did better than government B. For instance, the Persons with Disability Act was actually passed during the time of the former President J.A. Kufuor, which was an achievement. And then UN Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities was also enacted in 2012. That is during the times of former President Atamiros and John Dramani Mahama. And also the current government there are a lot of commitments that are made. For instance, during the Global Disability Summit, we saw the president of the current president of the Republic co-hosting with the Norwegian government and making commitments to mainstream disability issues. Of course, we also see the current government trying to strengthen the persons, the National Council on Persons with Disability, even though it is still a centralized institution, because we're expecting it should be decentralized to have regional and district branches. That has not been done. So for successful governments, each has played a role as far as disability advocacy is concerned. We will not be able to rate and say that government A did better than government B. Advocacy continues to move on to see that persons with disability are also at the same level with any other.
Okay, now I believe you're aware that 2% of total national revenue allocated the district assemblies is to be used to support persons with disabilities. Now, has this been accessible, if not sufficient?
Yeah, so that is also one thing that we need to be looking critically about. Usually we always hear government or successful government coming to say, and I have increased the district assembly common fund for persons with disability to 3% to 1.5% to that. Yeah, it has been helpful to persons with disability. However, accessibility to that fund sometimes is a big challenge. Even from the national level, the money from the administrator of the district assembly's common fund, it delays before they are able to even disburse it to the districts. And when it gets to the district, persons with disabilities sometimes also find some challenges getting access to that money. There are issues where some MDAs have mismanaged the money or the funds. Some, when you ask, they say, oh, we borrowed it and we will pay back and all that. So that is a good agenda or social protection program aimed at making persons with disability live economically dignified life. However, in fact, the utilization and the disbursement has not been consistent and is coming up with a whole lot of issues. We have had some assessment of the current guidelines, and we have reviewed the guidelines, and then we are pushing for the guidelines to be accepted and applied to regulate the disbursement and management of the fund. But I think that process has not finalized yet.
Okay, Adam, like you mentioned, you said they constantly say they are increasing, they are adding this, but do you have enough data? Is there enough information presented on decision-making tables? People who have the power to change the policies and ensure that they actually enacted, do you present them with enough data for these things to be pushed?
So, as a federation, we do have the data available, and we have been using that data in most of our engagement with relevant stakeholders, such as Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection, and also Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development, who is actually in charge of managing that funds as far as the district level is concerned. Also, that of the social welfare, which is also a very critical stakeholder when it comes to this fund. And of course, you know, as advocacy organization, data is one of the most important things that we always consider when we want to make or put our case across. So the assessment has been done. Sometimes they will say that they have increased it, but it's just a mere saying. you go into the ground and you realize that there is no any increment from whatever percentage that they are mentioning to the percentage that they are mentioning. So the data is available, and we continue to do the assessment, even to know or to find out the impact that the fund has created in the life of persons with disabilities.
Well, I think accountability definitely is an issue here. Thank you, Adam, for your time. That was Adam Abdul, Programs Director for the Ghana Federations of Disability Organizations. Do stay with us. Yeah? Okay, I don't have the... So as we've been doing, we actually bring you key campaign messages from the Vice President's campaign tour. Let's look at some of the key messages he shared when he went to the Bono region. So on Persons with Disability Act 2006, which is the Act 715. Now, in 2012, the Parliament of Ghana ratified the UN Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disability with its optional protocol. The Persons with Disability Act 2006, which is Act 715, gave a moratorium of 10 years for all public buildings to be made accessible and available to persons with disabilities. Now, a person responsible for admission into a school or other institution of learning shall not refuse to give admission to a person with disability on account of the disability unless the person with disability has been assessed by the ministry responsible for education in collaboration with the ministries responsible. Over here, you can remember that Abdul mentioned that some schools actually refuse to admit certain persons with disabilities. We'll be right back. So I mentioned earlier that we're bringing you live updates when the Vice President begins talking. But let's go straight to somewhere you might go in Tainman and let's find out what's happening there. Samuel, what's the atmosphere currently
so as
the program started?
All right, Epiphania, the program is yet to begin, but I can report that there are a lot of, there's more security presence here at the Bamari Community Center in the Tainman South constituency. And this is no surprise because of our previous happening in the constituency in the 2020 election, where there was a brawl between the NPP, between the party supporters and the military, where 2 or 3 people lost their life in the situation. So we are still awaiting the arrival of Dr. Bawumia to address the Regional House of Chiefs, but we can notice more security presence with some personnel from the Ghana Police Service and even military persons here going around and making their routine checks to make sure that everything is on point before Dr. Bawumia arrives here to address the Regional House of Chiefs. So the situation here is currently quiet, but there is more security presence within here.
Okay, so talk to anybody. What are the expectations?
So, all right, so the expectations are quite high for the Vice President. As I mentioned, some of them are expecting him to actually speak something about the peace and situation within the constituency, especially Tainman South, because of the issues around the 2024 election. So we are waiting to see whether the Vice President would touch on that topic. Remember that the opposition NDC has already accused the president and his vice of neglecting and refusing to comment on the situation since it happened in December 2020. So some few people have engaged here, say that they want to see if the Vice President will touch on it, and what plans are they putting in place to make sure that a similar situation doesn't repeat itself in the upcoming election here in Tainman South.
Let's take a look at the Vice President itinerary for today. Now, after he meets with the Regional House of Chiefs, he's also going to the Islamic Mission Mosque in Tainman, where they'll have Juma prayers. He'll also be meeting with Garages Association, which is the Tainman main garages. He also have a meet and greet with the Tainman main lorry station and market women. I mean, he did this similarly where he met with taxi drivers, so I'm sure he's going to engage with the market women and the taxi drivers at the Tainman main lorry station and market. Now, 5 p.m. there'll be a Youth Connect Town Hall meeting. Now, platform he's using to engage the youth and present them with youth-based, in fact, solution-based, specific for youth. Everything he says at the Youth Connect Town Hall meeting is just for the youth, and that's why he pushes his digitalization agenda most importantly. We would also be looking at excerpts from his engagement on Wednesday when he actually met with the Bono Regional House of Chiefs. He also engaged in a meet and greet with the market women, and then also gave a speech. He was a guest of honor at the University of Energy and Natural Resources 3rd Annual Dialogue on Transformation, Sustainability in the Small Scale Sector in Ghana. You can see him. This way he was addressing the clergy early in the morning. This was on Wednesday. He shared his vision. Over here he was specific. He spoke about the flat tax rate. The flat tax rate. If you've been following his campaign, you know that he's been pushing for a 10% flat tax rate after he grants a tax amnesty. Here he was addressing the imams and the Zongo and settler chiefs. Over here, this was where he was addressing the House of Chiefs, sharing his vision with them. He was really keen on formalizing the small-scale mining sector. And this is the meet and greet. This is where he goes into the market to interact one-on-one with the market women, get to meet them at their stalls. The excitement on the face of the people definitely is undeniable. So we're bringing you more highlights. Do stay with us.